Hello, this is Dr. Pete, and this is kind of jokingly calling a public service announcement on classes. Every semester, this happens every semester. I have students that get into class and they go right to work, and they make fundamental mistakes up front. Some people just do a good job and it clicks and there's no issues and it's seamless. And other students, maybe they do work in other classes that may be acceptable or quality, but then when someone actually starts paying attention, like a professor that actually cares, that begins to have a problem because, for example, the professor may say, well, I actually do check grammar, or I do actually check APA, or I do check sources. And if you're not used to that, it becomes a big situation quick. So as more of a public service announcement, take time to read what the professor puts in the class. The first time you enter a class, you should take 15, 20 minutes, maybe a half hour. What's this class about? What does the syllabus look like? What are they expecting? Let's watch their video. Let's watch videos they make. Let's read what they post. And so we get into the whole, let's get to know the professor. Let's get to know the class. That's really the smart way to do things. But we're all busy because I have nothing else to do with my time. So everyone else is busy, but not me. That's kind of how it comes off sometimes. Some students will kind of give me that discussion like they have a family and they have school and they have all these things, and I do too. Okay, so I just want to emphasize that point is that we're all humans, we're all busy, we all have important things to do, we all have friends and family, we all have work or something that occupies our time, and school is something additional to that. And so you have to make priority for what you're doing, and school has to have so much time. But what I would suggest is that 15, 20, 30 minutes at the start of a class can really save a lot of misunderstandings, miscommunications, things like that. Because here's what happens. The first time you get feedback, it's like, well, I don't like that grade, so it must be the professor. Then when you say, the professor says, well, did you read what was in the class? Did you watch the videos? Of course you're going to say yes, because you can't say no. That would look like you weren't respecting the class and the professor. So now you have to sit there and say, oh, well, yeah, I read all that. It just wasn't clear. Okay, so it wasn't clear. So did you bother to ask the professor? Did you bother to email, call? Well, of course not, because it wasn't clear, because most people skip the intro. And the reason I know that is I can actually put a video in a class introing it, and it shows me how many students. If there's 30 students and 2 people watched it, there's only 2 that have that ability to make that comment, okay? So not to be smart here, but you really do need to take that time, because a lot of professors like myself, we put a lot of things into the class. We want people to know, if you're having a discussion post, this is what it looks like. This is what the expectations. If I send out templates, this is the one that always gets me. PowerPoint. I'll sit there and send out 1 or 2 templates. I do it at the beginning of the class. I will mention it. And then what do I have? A student will sit there and say, well, I didn't read that. I didn't get that email. Well, you got every other email, but you didn't get that email. You didn't read in the class about it. You didn't see the one in the class. You didn't ask for it. You just went and did what you normally do. And that is a common thing. And it's like, well, that's a problem, right? Or the other one is, well, I cut and paste everything in there and I've always done that. Well, it's still plagiarism. It doesn't change that fact. Just because a professor looks at it for the first time and wants you to do quality work doesn't mean the professor's wrong. It just means that the other ones did not do it. And that's another issue that has to be addressed. So let's, for a moment, take for example, the professor just may want something done their way. That's why you read the class too, okay? Because every professor does have things they like. I try to grade and say, look, this is what most professors would want. This is what they look in general for APA, in general for grammar, in general for research. I do use videos, and it allows me to give a lot more feedback. But having said that, some schools don't like them as much because they just have rules against them. Others just embrace them and love them, and that's why we get, a lot of support, and I get to train other professors to do that all over the country. But the bigger issue here is that if you always come back to say, well, that's just the professor's quirk, that's just what they want. That's why you read all the stuff ahead of time. If they show that they don't care and you can just do whatever, then you may get away with it. But you know that because you read it, you watched their video, you watched their body language. If you sit there and watch all this stuff and go, this professor really does care and puts a lot of time into this, you'll get that out of the reading, writing, and all that as well. But it doesn't matter if you don't read all this stuff. You'll either read it and get a head start and start stronger, or you're going to get the grades that reflect you not reading it or not asking for help sooner. And then that's when everyone has to start making excuses. I'm going to complain. I'm going to file a complaint. I'm going to sit there and complain to the professor. Oh, I'll get them on their survey. That's another one, you know? Well, surveys are important, but professors, good ones, they can't be beholden to that. Meaning, if they give good instruction, they take calls, they make videos, they give all the feedback in the world, the complaint really doesn't go anywhere because everything's been offered to you to be successful. Just because you don't like a grade doesn't mean the professor did a bad job. It just means the first thing you should always do, this is what I do. If something's a problem, is it me? Okay, is it other people, or is it really the person making, that I think's the problem? I always have to go through that because there are times when we look at these things. If I had read the class and studied and understood, I would have started off a lot better. Those are the lessons I learned. That's the lesson I'm trying to pass off here, is that if you take those moments, just 15, 20 minutes, it can really make a huge impact and start a lot stronger. Having said that, every semester I get the ones that start every semester. So this is the public service announcement. Just take that moment, research a little bit, read what the professor's like, even if you think they're wrong and that's what they want. At least you know because you watched the videos and read their stuff. But having said that, most professors just want you to do a good job and they want you to have a general idea what they think is important, and that's the learning process. It's a diverse idea. Not everyone's going to grade the same. Never, everyone doesn't learn the same. Sometimes it matches, sometimes it doesn't, but at the end of the day, the diversity of the professors giving feedback is what makes you stronger. So that's that, and I appreciate the time, and thank you very much.